Hello, everyone. It's Jon Binnie here. I'm your psychic spiritual mentor living here in Scotland. And I'm here today to take you on a journey connecting with Mother Gaia, the source of love of this universe, my spirit guides from around the universe, and also the sun and archangels and many other beings. So we're here today to learn a bit more about what's coming up through the end of July into August. We have the Lion's Gate, rawr, and we have a lot of turbulence coming our way. And so I'm excited to both share the good and the bad and everything in between, what's been coming through and what messages we have and how we can help support ourselves and others. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go ahead and create a safe space. And the reason why we do this is to really help create a sovereign energetic boundary around ourselves. And this really helps both, it's good energetic hygiene. It also means that when I'm doing the channeling and messages, that I know exactly which being I'm talking to. And there's not all the background noise, and even worse, other energies or entities trying to influence you through me. So I hope that this helps you as well. So if you'd like to join me, it'll take us a couple minutes to go through this. So let's begin by taking in a deep breath through the nose and breathe out what no longer serves, our highest good, nice and loud. Breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out any fear, shame, anxiety, or pain, nice and loud. And breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out any remaining low vibration energy or emotion, nice and loud. And continue to breathe deeply and calmly. And focus your attention now on the center of your big, beautiful heart, where your golden divine spark enters your human form, where your soul connects in with your heart. And from the center of your heart, extend a cord of light upwards, up through the top of your head, and reach up into the sky, and then up into space and up into the stars, all the way up through the highest frequencies and dimensions of this universe, until you reach the highest dimension of the source of love of this universe, and there connecting your light cord into the highest dimension of source. Remain connected into source, feeling that oneness, unity, and unconditional love, and extend your light cord back down through the layers of the universe, all the way down through the top of your head, and back down into your heart. And now from the center of your heart, extend your cord of light downwards, down through the root of your spine, all the way down through the layers of the planet, going deeper and deeper until you reach the very core of Mother Earth. And there, connecting your light cord into Mother Gaia's crystalline heart. We send Mother Gaia so much love at this time, so much love to all aspects of her third, fourth, and fifth dimensional aspects. Allow her to send her love back. And from the center of our heart of Mother Earth, extend the light cord back up through the layers of the planet, up through the root of your spine, and into your heart once more. And now, together with the light of Source above and Mother Gaia below, expand out a golden bubble of protective light to surround you about 2 meters out to each side, above and below, in front and behind, and set the intention that only energies and entities, with your permission, with your highest good love and compassion, can see you, access you, or exist within your protective space or within you. All other energies and entities must leave immediately. Invite in your spirit guides, your higher self, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source, and Gaia. And we ask at this time for their guidance, clearing, healing, protection, and assistance with the integration of today's messages. And just allow your heart now to continue to soften and open and release anything that no longer serves you now through your hands and feet and the base of your spine and deep into the earth. Asking Mother Gaia to be able to transmute anything that no longer serves us, to transmute it for energy, to feed and serve the highest good of all. And through space and time, I create a protective bubble around all of us who choose to engage with today's video with the intention that only energies and entities with our permission, our highest good love and compassion can see us, access us, or exist within this space or within us. All other energies and entities must leave immediately. And I'd like to invite in my guides, my higher self, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source and Gaia, the Sun, Ra energy. Thank you. And we'd like to set the intention today. We're here to focus on what's coming up through the remainder of July. We're on July 25th and also into August, Lionsgate Portal on 8/8. And any other messages that will support us, we often look through to the next 3 months, so through to the 25th of October. So there's, first of all, some big, powerful changes happening, and there's also a theme building for all of us, and that's to begin to observe all of what's going on outside of us as a reflection of what's going on inside of us. And if you can't tell by the shift in my energy, I feel like I want to gulp. It's a big gulping moment. You know, it's like, oh, there's a lot within me still I need to face. And let's explore this more. So what I would like to do is start with a message from Source. And I'm going to ask Source specifically a question, and it's a comment from one of you. And although it's a comment from one of you, it's from Leaf Dance One. Thank you so much for your comment. I feel that this is a message for all humanity that we all need to hear. And whilst I gave a response, I feel that there's more simplicity to the answer that I'd be able to get from asking Source. So first of all, the question is, why does our world have to get to the point where war, bombs, and lies have to be to the height of the conversation before we can ascend? Why can't we just transition? Ascension is in our soul's DNA. Okay. So this is my question to Source. let's ask Source. So just asking Source now to step into me, and yes, please do feel free to step into my energy, Source, and channel through me. Dear souls, welcome. A voice of Source joins you at this time. I speak to answer your question of your journey. First, please place your hand on your heart and take a look deep inside. Do you feel that you are free of lies? Are you free of fear? Are you free of your self-hatred and self-loathing? And at very least, have you begun the journey of facing all of these aspects of you? They will always exist in your heart. Know that you have the opportunity to learn to love all of the aspects of you and your heart. Before you can love, you must first see. You must see your fears. Right now, across humanity, almost all of you are hiding fears from yourselves. Your fears are amplifying whenever you connect in your heart. Perhaps you feel this now, your heart, into all of humanity at this time. Humanity is a being, a conscious collective of all of your thoughts and feelings. And humanity is on its knees. Your actions are not sustainable. You are destroying planet Earth. And it is not the few that are destroying the planet. It is all of you. Know that on your journey, as you look within and face your fears, you're beginning to feel, to shine a light, to see the truths, and begin your journey of forgiveness, of healing, releasing. You must first go through the destruction of what is not for your highest good. I know not of many systems that really support you, your highest good, the planet, and your generations to come. There is much to learn from your ancient ways and your history. But first, you must ride this storm. In particular, the truths that shall be revealed shortly. There are truths coming that will make you question everything. Make you question the very systems, your monetary systems, your government systems, your celebrity systems that you've relied on for so long. These will be seen to begin to crumble. And when you realize that everyone that chases greed through fear of lack or seeking power over others, propagating distance and division between others, any system born of this, any system that supports it, and importantly, any system that allows it to happen and allows you to turn a blind eye or for it to be hidden from you, these systems must collapse. This is why Mother Gaia is so angry at this time. She knows much more of the truth than many of you, because those that harm other humans have the audacity to build facilities within her skin, under the surface and crust of this earth. And during this shake-up, you will begin to experience revelations and truths that are far beyond your wildest nightmares. And it is these nightmares that begin to allow you to see that you all need to change. It all starts from within your heart and facing the fears. None of this can be separated. None of humanity can be divided off and blamed. You're all in this together. All of your destinies, your life paths, your connections with the planet and connections with each other are all intertwined. You must find a way to be brave and look within your heart and to shine a light on your fears, for this is what clears the way for your new world. If I was to say to you, you can build your new world on the foundations of the old, your new world too would crumble. Quickly, within months and years, it would be poisoned by the greed, by the capital isms and isms So please allow gracefully your old world to fall and work with us all to minimize the suffering. And most importantly, out of all of these changes, to help give the voice of Source, to all beings who have not had the opportunity to speak, whose suffering is not yet known, whose souls have fought and died, imprisoned and enslaved by fellow humans. Allow them to come to the surface and to share their stories and to speak their truths. For at this time, this is the greatest change your world needs, so that you too can look within your heart and ask yourself, how could I let this happen to fellow humans? How could I let this happen to the children of the world? We, humanity, do not accept this. We, humanity, will prevent this. This will never happen again in the history of humanity. I leave you with these opportunities. I leave you with your work. But know that I'm always here in your heart, and I am just the voice of the love that already contained within you. I am not separate. I am not better. I am simply the collective of you. I love you. You and all your beautiful souls. Take good care of yourselves. Wow. Please give me a minute. I was really interested, and thank you so much, Source. It's such an honor. I feel that was a very gentle, a very gentle exchange with Source. So thank you. And I wanted to just also respond, like to read out the comment that I answered. So we heard the answer from Source, and so I said, first of all, so I had a few points. Number one, all experienced in the outside world is a reflection of what is inside our hearts, whether we are fully conscious of it or not. And that ascension is in our hearts, and it is that we raise in vibration and our hearts open up and ascend. In our hearts, we need to face our shadows and our fears, feel them and heal them, release them, and make way for receiving more love, joy, gratitude, and higher vibrations. And three, in summary, ascension and the smoothness of it is all about our hearts and the heart of Mother Gaia. My hands are like, yeah, there's some good points there, John. Thank you. I hope that also helps. There's this really powerful, just towards the end there, and I was holding back. I didn't really want to cry as I was channeling Source. Was that emotion that Source has, and that I feel we as humanity need to connect with more, is souls that are suffering right now across the world that don't have a voice. They're just not being seen. They're not in any social media, any news campaigns, any mainstream media. No one's talking about it. Their enslavement and their suffering is just not seen. And there's great reason and purpose for that, right? There's many people, primarily across the world, that don't want that truth to come up. And what Gaia was showing me was that a lot of, and we've heard this kind of build up to this message, right? I remember one of the first predictions videos I was doing a couple of weeks ago, or was it 3 weeks ago, really started to touch on this, and that is that Gaia, because we're not doing it, right? Because you and I aren't hunting for, lost souls lost people in this world, and there are millions, right? There's more than double the population of Scotland going missing every year in the world. That's two Scotlands, two countries of people go missing. And I'm not saying, they're all hidden in underground bases being abused, but my feeling is a significant number are. And that reported number is this kind of 8 to 12 million is likely the lower end, conservative estimate of what's going on in the world, and that something like 2/3 of those are children, and or vulnerable people. And I don't know about you guys. I want to know where they are. I want to help. I want to wrap my arms around this world and shine a light on all the hidden suffering, because these are the worst fears in our hearts. Me standing here talking to you in luxury compared to many people. I have everything I could possibly need and want, for that matter, and never worrying about my next meal or water. And yet there are so many people around the world that are suffering and that don't even have their freedom, or safe drinking water or food. And worse, that they are imprisoned and enslaved and trafficked by other humans. So Mother Gaia is stepping in to shake up. And we heard her in previous videos talking about these breaking up of underground bases, like this targeting, this rattling. And for the first time today, because, in parts, I'm also responding to some of your other comments. And thank you for your comments in the videos. It's been a lot of fun keeping up with them. Hundreds in videos, which is fantastic. Just getting to know you, connecting with you. This is how we do it, right? This is how we help save this world. We connect with each other around the world. So it's such a loving, fruitful, and productive use of my time to connect with you. I really value our connections. And I see that the more we connect, and the more I hear about your individual challenges and fears, I was shown this morning, just before we started this recording, that as Gaia's through August, as she's targeting these underground bases, people will walk free from these places. They will be in sufficient destruction that they will escape. And there will be people and children leaving these bases in fear and disarray and in poor health and traumatized. And when we see that, we will be shocked. Our hearts will just, pour out for them. And it'll make us, it's going to, the concept alone for me is a big thing, but I feel it's such a big shock to humanity that we realize it's not just that we want to return things back to our status quo or a supposed norm. It's that our norm helped create this. We've by turning a blind eye, by getting our heads stuck in fear and capitalism, and of course we get to choose all these things. And I don't want to demonize capitalism, but it's all these things that distract us, and that we're as humanity, we're taking our hands off the wheel. So we're no longer looking out for everyone. We're no longer checking and saying, oh, is everyone okay in our community? Is everyone even still there? Has anyone gone missing? We just rely on our systems to do that. And all of our systems are imperfect. Some better than others, right? And I'm part of that too, right? I'm part of that too. I've not, I could definitely do more to pay attention to what's going on in my physical community around me and my global community. And I feel this is the big start. So it's definitely one thing for us to fear, for our abundance, our safety, our health, and that of our loved ones. And this is a big thing, right? And it's a huge theme for us. A lot of what I'm doing is also helping introduce you to the concept of and prepare you for what's to come. Is more truths. There are absolutely more truths to be unveiled. And I'm going to ask one question, because I'd love to ask Gaia her views on these questions. But there was someone had asked about the Epstein files. Let me just see where that question is, because we can answer it as we go. So far, I have 37 open questions. Let me just search for it. And the question is from C. Fallon1. Hi, Jon. I hope you're well. I am, thank you. My question is, have you covered the Epstein files yet? What happened? Will they see the light of day? Thank you. So I have received some answers on this already. Let me also just open up this answer to my guides, higher self. Oh, okay. It's really interesting. Archangel Michael's stepping in. I was just about to ask him as well. So Archangel Michael's doing work on helping liberate the Epstein files. Now, the concept, and it's a very human thing. We kind of cling to the concept of, it's just these files, right? That the files themselves are, that they exist and that they are the only source of truth. So first of all, Archangel Michael saying it's not the only evidence, right? It's not the only thing that exists. And what's happening right now is a significant push, like a pushing down, and I suspect you're feeling this, a push down on the truth, like to bury it, like push that truth down, because it's explosive. It is absolutely explosive. The reason Archangel Michael is involved is because the pushing down on this is so severe that, and this feels a combination of money, people hiring, hired hands going in and doing their bidding, their dirty work to suppress this. I'm thinking of, these are contractors, people for hire that will do this work, often, criminal work to suppress this, that there's such a heavy weight of suppression to try and bury it as much as possible that Archangel Michael's had to step in, because it's breaching at volume, at sufficient volume, enough free will. So there's, enough people are suffering, and they've already been suffering through the abuse and other challenges through the legacy of Epstein. But it's more it's okay. So Archangel Michael's saying it doesn't stop there. There's no coincidence why I've transitioned from talking about, underground bases and hidden facilities where there's, enslavement and abuse happening. The Epstein files are somewhat a gateway to that, which is why there's such an unbelievable amount of pressure on it. So, you and I may have opinions about the individuals that are involved, and we may want, to see justice for them. Know that it is the tip of the iceberg. And what Archangel Michael's saying, and this is lovely because this was the same thing I heard before we started today, was yes, they will be revealed. And simply, it's just not going to go away. And what you're seeing now is, there's different motives for different people investing in the truths. And we can see, I'm not going to name them, it doesn't seem helpful. You know who they are. It's very public. But when you have a world leader and, a wealthy person, and they're busy fighting each other, that it seems that Archangel Michael says there's neither party actually know how deep this goes. And they might even, one knows more than the other, right? And one is trying to protect more of the lies that suppress the evidence. It is the tip of the iceberg. So imagine you could describe it as I'm being shown visually as the surface. So this is the surface level abuse, right? And it's the iceberg. So if you imagined all of the Epstein files being released, and then all of the truths within them and all the people connected, that would be the tip of the iceberg, because what sits below it is terrifying, and it needs to come out. This whole giant iceberg that is dark and hidden and is an exponentially larger amount of abuse. This is what needs revealed. And so this is why there's such effort to suppress the tip of the iceberg. Time frames, it's not certain specifically for the Epstein files, but I keep seeing August for this first wave of us experiencing people leaving facilities, people, the truths being revealed. And that's triggered by Gaia's activity. Wow, this is a very deep and heavy video today. And yeah, I can see that we're being drawn to, some of our deepest, darkest shadows. I was hoping it would be lighter. It was like, oh, great news, guys. And I would like to spend a little bit of time just talking about the good news, like where are we all going with this? Like, what happens after? One very wise thing my son said to me was, when I had my Swedish massage exam coming up, he just said to me, remember what it's like after the exam. And I said, what do you mean? He said, you're worried about the exam, right? Think about what it's going to be like after the exam. That's what you really want. That's your goal. You're just worried about what's going to happen during the exam. And I said, that's true. I'm only really fearful of the exam itself. He said, keep focusing on how it feels just after. Imagine you're just that feeling of just walking out. And I was like, I'm so proud of you. And I love that. And it's the same for humanity, right? Like, we can't deny this fear. We can't deny that we're going through significant pain, suffering, torture, the trauma. There's just, everything is happening to this world all at once. And it's for purpose and reason. And on the other side of it, and we're not, this is the deal, right? This is the deal with this universe. You're not allowed to see this beautiful new world in total detail or total clarity until you've released the old one. And this is because one affects the other, and the conscious awareness of one affects the other. Okay. So let's ask Mother Gaia. So I'm just going to go down to Gaia's heart and the core of Mother Earth, and let's ask a little bit about what's coming up through the end of July, coming up into, she's already started talking. Okay, please wait a minute. Up into August. And then we can also go up to just that longer 3-month view up to the 25th of October, if there's anything new for us to know about Gaia, please. So far, she's just checking on me. She's saying, "You're okay, Jon? This is a lot." And I was like, "Yes, it is. It is a lot." And she may step into me. I'm not. She's just helping conserve some of my energy. That's very thoughtful of you, Gaia, because it does take quite a lot of energy every time I have a being come in. So let's just allow her to share these messages. So she's showing me what's happening right now. Okay, that's really fascinating. So she's showing me from the center of the earth, from her very heart, from the core of the earth right now, there is a highly charged connection into the center of the sun. So I often do this with my left hand, right? The sun on the left, and Gaia on the right. And it's lovely because I remember one of you saying in the comments that, you know, the sun feels much more feminine and the left hand is receiving and the right hand is giving, right? So there's this, what Gaia is showing me in the very core of her heart is these electrical, I describe it as quantum electrical magnetic connection. I've spoken before of this umbilical cord that runs from the center, the heart of Mother Earth into the sun, because the sun is a parent of Mother Earth. And it's really beautiful. So I use that word quantum, right? This transcends space and time, which is why I use the word quantum. This energy, this electrical energy is charged. There's significant charge now between the two. So as we saw the 7 appear on the sun, and in fact, in my morning run this morning, I saw kind of somewhere between a 7, a T, and later it turned into a J just after I stopped filming. J for John. What I saw is that that's the key that unlocks this next phase. It unlocks this journey into August and the Lionsgate portal. So, and that is 8. So the 7 is the July and the precursor and the key, and then 8 is the infinity. It's the portal as we step into this transformational energy into August and greater disruption on Earth. I mentioned that Gaia had started talking to me just during the first connection with her, and she's saying that continue to watch for, and it's continued activity. These are activities off the coast of Japan. So this is, she's calling it deep sea tremors that continue, and it's causing volcanic activity in the area, increased volcanic activity. And, you know, none of that is like a super surprise for us, but she's saying, watch that space and watch what's happening. We've heard previous predictions of land masses being formed not far away as a result of this activity. But it's some of the first, or should I say, and it's some of the first big releases that we start to see. So keep our eyes out there. There are other hotspots, you know, that we're conscious of. And let me just ask if there's anything else. She says nothing new compared to the August predictions we've already made. Increased turbulence across hotspot areas, and some new. So, you know, experiences across Europe, for example, having the first tremors that are connected to this release, and Mother Gaia is releasing her anger, releasing her rage, and it's exactly that emotion that I spent the first 30 minutes with, right? It is this, she can feel and see all of the souls that are enslaved and hidden below the surface of the earth and below the surface of our perception, as they are released. You know, she's releasing her energy as well. So it's interconnected. You know, she's helping destroy and bring light to some of these facilities and bases where these people are trapped and enslaved. And then also this release of the energy is the release of that anger. It has to be let out. It's a poison that's hurting our planet, but it's also a poison within each of us. You know, there's so many of us, you know, all the friends and family of the at least 12 million or so people a year that are going missing, they all feel this, right? And just because I'm lucky enough not to not to suffer from that in my family, these people's hearts are broken and are breaking. And so this energy needs to be released. It needs to be at first seen. Okay. And if there's any more specifics, Gaia, can you let us know? Because I did scan through all your questions. There was some towards the top. Let's just see if, top of my list, let's just see if there's any that you can answer, Gaia, while we're at it. And I'm just going to do one per person. Some of you have entered a couple. First of all, someone's asked, this is Carol Lindquist. 1270. Are major hurricanes and flooding ahead for Norfolk, VA Beach, VA, this coming season? Gaia says yes. But the hurricanes aren't beyond. It's not. She's showing me the energy. She's trying to say it's not beyond expected realms. So that's helpful. She did say the flooding is a bit more than you'd be used to. But this doesn't. This is not. What this isn't. This is not a description of significant catastrophic weather experiences, which is good news. And let me just see if we've got another while we're here for Gaia. Anything specifically? What's in? So this is from. Oh, this is a duplicate. Hang on. Yeah, please just post one comment, and then once you hear that in a video, you can post another comment. And I'll figure out better and better ways of doing this over time. We're getting there. I'm sure there was a couple more, but they're not standing out. Okay, so let's ask. Okay, so Guy is just drawing my attention to one. This is from Sorbier Chanter 9012. Thank you for your question. It says, will the Belgian people have to endure the antics of their leaders and consequences of their presence of various international institutions, EU, SHAPE, NATO, etc., on their territory for much longer? So let me ask Gaia. She wanted to bring this. So she says, she's even given me a location. What's going to happen in? She's saying in Belgium. Belgium is one of these places which has facilities. So I'm not going to just restrict it to bases, but facilities that are holding people in both slavery, so people that are held captive, and then also the trafficking. So these are people that are actually moving around the country, but they are, they're enslaved. So if you pass someone that's being trafficked in the street, they might just look a bit kind of down, depressed, and not in great health. But they would be walking alone, but they are absolutely enslaved. Like they are walking to a place where they are facing an abuser, and they're enslaved through threats to their lives and or their families. So there's this. These are the truths that will start to be emerged. This is what happens first, and so this is a cascading effect, right? So all these institutions, as we know them, EU, SHAPE, NATO, etc., these will all be challenged on this journey as we face more of our truths and fears. And you've asked the question, is it much longer? Well, it does take time, but this is all an evolution. And first we must devolve, we must deconstruct the very institutions that we, humanity, have created that and allowed to continue to run, that support the hiding of such truths. So thank you so much for your question. And how are we doing on time? We're 45 minutes, so no more than the hour. And let me see if there's anything else from our galactic brothers and sisters. So I'd like to also ask the question about from my extraterrestrial guides, the Galactic Federation Council, the Galactic Federation, was going to say Galactic Federation, Council of Light for some reason. For the Galactic Federation, can you help answer some of the questions about what we'll experience through the rest of July and August, Lionsgate? Okay, so my Lyran guide, Emin Shao, I was hoping he'd come forwards. He stepped forwards and he's showing me the portal of 8/8, so the 8th of August. And he's showing me that the world is, so imagine, let's get really abstract for a moment, right? So just in case any of this wasn't abstract enough, imagine the collective energy of humanity, the collective consciousness of humanity is a balloon. What he says, what happens to the portal is that whole energy is squeezed and condensed down and then gets pushed through the portal and then pops out at the other end. Okay, that's cool. And why? What are the effects? So he says, when we're in the condensing point, so this is as we're going to the build-up towards the portal, and we're squeezing our conscious energy through it, he says what happens is the proximity between us, our consciousness, so each of you, me, and all of us individually, the distance between our conscious awareness and things outside of our awareness, such as these darker, hidden truths of humanity, they're coming closer to us. They're coming closer to us. So through that squeeze, as we go into August, we feel this crunch, and it feels, to me, what he's showing me is it feels very graphically that someone, a poor soul that's being enslaved, their energy's like right next to me. And I feel that close. I feel it close already on the 25th of July. The message is you'll feel these truths so close, and yet you don't know what they are. And it'll, as we come out of the other side of the portal, that's when we're like, hang on, there's more to this. What's going on Earth? Where are all these people going? What's happening to our children, our loved ones? What's happening to this world? And where are we going? Where is humanity going? Is this really sustainable? Could we really say that the direction we're going is sustainable for another 7 generations? I see so little sustainability. I know I don't need to preach that to you, but I also, scarily, I see that in myself. When I go camping for a week in my camper van, I need so many external things, fuel. I need, to go and buy water. I need to, deal with my waste. I don't even have the skills to be fully self-sufficient as an individual. And I'm a constant burden. And I know that that none of really what I'm doing is, other than maybe a little bit of solar energy and, being conscious of what I consume, that it's not sustainable yet, that we desperately need a sustainable world. So there's that feeling of there's each of us will go through that crunch through the Lion's Gate. But the good news is the expansion is incredible. And I'd love to shift to end on a high note, because it's certainly a dark video. As we get ready to face our futures, I would love us all to have higher hopes and higher expectations for humanity. I feel we can do a lot better. I'm going to share a couple of, in a moment, I'll share a couple of experiences about the fifth dimension. And then I'll ask my guide, Emin Shao, as well for his. So first of all, some of my first glimpses of the fifth dimension were just after my awakening in 2017. So it was something like the month after. So it was November 2017 that I was in a meditation session, and I saw my first I'd ever been in, and I saw the birthing of stars and planets and the energy flowing between them, and I was hooked. So I started meditating every day. Within a few weeks, I was talking to my spirit guides. So within about 4 weeks of that, I remember standing at this is my old house, standing at the kitchen window, getting some water, staring out the window, and suddenly there was a shift in energy, and everything got beautifully bright and colorful. And we had this big copper birch tree in front of us, and its colors suddenly became alive. That was what shocked me. I was like, look at the colors. And then I saw and felt, I feel it in my heart just now, and I still visit that tree on my patch walks in the morning. I felt that the tree was so alive, it was so conscious, and it was talking to the birds. The birds there was a couple of birds on the wall next to the tree, and they were singing to the tree. And I'm fully awake. I'm not meditating or anything. I was just going to the kitchen to get a glass of water. And then I saw that the grass was, connected with the tree, and that the insects flying around were singing to the flowers, and the flowers were waving around and dancing. Like everyone was in this beautiful orchestra, this beautiful high vibration. And then this was all within a few seconds. And then the energy, the focus came back to myself. I was like, Jon, how do you feel? And I felt so light and bright in that moment. I felt so clear. It felt like I could finally relax. I felt safe. I could hug myself and just celebrate in that moment. And that moment lasted for maybe something like 10 to 15 seconds, but it was an eternity. Since then, I have had a lot of meditation experiences in my own personal practice of asking to visit the fifth dimension, and what's it like there? What are we doing in our future? I've done future meditations and Akashic Record sessions where I go into my future, and some of these are public as well. You can see those on YouTube. Every time I go into our future, it is stunning. Their nature is so abundant, and we celebrate it so much. For instance, where I live already has some woods around it, but it's like that on steroids in my future. There's trees everywhere, all around us, and that nature feels so dominant, and that nature's so loving us. We're not fighting with nature. We're not, we're in total harmony and community and communion with nature. And then I see a lot of my time when I visit my future self is spent doing some of this work, doing some dancing, meditation, teaching with people, enjoying time with my family. It's not totally dissimilar to what I'm doing right now. And yet the feelings are, the key message my future self always says to me is, Jon, and is laughing as it says this, there's no limit to your joy. There's no limit. What you're experiencing today on the 25th of July is right down there at the bottom. We have very low expectations as humanity of what we can actually experience. And in the fifth dimension, it is just incredible. It is the heaven on earth that we always wanted and more. And these are the glimpses we're allowed to see, right? The more I do this work, the more I realize that we're allowed to visit our future. We're allowed to see the glimpses. But if we don't, if we didn't get glimpses, we got to see tons and tons and tons, it would have a negative effect on our present moment. And I will explain, one very visceral, palpable challenge, I've had recently, and to explain a bit about what led me to these videos and to this moment and to the Jon that you see standing in front of you just now. And that is that I, been through a lot of changes. I'm always going through changes in the way I'm working, in my business, in my life, and in my personal relationships. And there was one big event that happened in my private life, which, I would share, but I'm just sensitive to the people. I won't share it because of that. But know that I was dealing with some serious fears, and that I completed that fear cycle, which is liberating, right? And then, and I'm sure one day I'll share it. There's nothing shameful about it. Um, the other thing is my Divine Sparks membership group, which I've dearly loved, loved, running for several years now, and had about 21 people. Right up, we closed it this week, and that was such a huge deal for me because it was so difficult. It's such a hard decision, intertwined with the joy and love I had for running the membership. There was and the connections and the friendship and the custom from people, and I'm so grateful to all of you as individuals. That I knew that for some months now I'd become out of balance with it. I'd created something that was unsustainable for me. I couldn't do the daily posts, the sessions every 2 weeks, maintaining the application, maintaining the technology, and helping support people in a direction that would truly help them, and also charge enough. Also financially, it wasn't really viable. But that came second. I always felt that if my joy was in it, just like these videos, I don't care how much money these videos make or not. That's not of interest to me. I love doing it. That I realized that I had to bring that to a close. And just as I was making those last decisions to close it, suddenly, everything opened up for me. And it includes, we're, as we speak, we've almost reached 12,000. We did just now. Woohoo! We made 12,001 subscribers. Thank you so much. I just hit my page refresh. That growth is so fast. It was only days ago that we were 10,000. Now we're 12,000. It's just so exciting. Thank you. That expansion and the version of me that you see is because I keep letting go of things that either are super dark in my life, or relationships or people that just need to be faced and those fears tackled and released. And then more, latterly, recently you're seeing me deal with things in my life that are much more kind of mixed, right? And I don't think directly that closing a membership group has allowed my YouTube channel to significantly grow. But what I know is what I've been doing within myself constantly is saying, Jon, there's things that you need to face, and it's always a lesson about me, right? It's always a lesson about my business is me. It is my it's just me. There's only one of us in the business. It's me. And just learning that as I face these things, what's my next fear? What's my next challenge? And to let them go. And I know that I have to become that version of me that's, capable of these videos and serving you in bigger and bigger ways, and more of you, and speaking and communicating in ways that I find, that you're able to receive and that I'm able to share through such often difficult concepts. Why is this work so hard to get our heads around? Because they're so fundamentally different to the way we live and the way we treat each other and what's broken in the world. And yet, as I say those words, I also feel that every time we face a fear, we get a little bit of a level up in our energy. We release, some of that baggage, and we're rising up. We're rising up. And as we rise ourselves up, we can step into these higher vibration timelines of ourselves, these higher versions of ourselves. We become that version of ourselves we always wanted to be, that we always wanted to see, physically, emotionally, and of course in terms of our abundance. And let me finally, in our last couple of minutes, just ask my guide Emenchel about the fifth dimension, and what can he tell us to give us a little bit of a glimpse, and perhaps a little bit of encouragement and motivation towards where we're going. So the first thing is he's showing me his heart open, and he'd like to speak a little bit of Lyran light language, and this is to help open up all of our hearts at this time. So if you choose to consent to joining us in opening up our hearts, And this is opening up our hearts to the sun, to this love energy of source, and to help support us through the transition, this transformation through the 8-8 portal. Ra tere, ara tere, ura tere, amara taka, ura teti niraktuk orama, ra rataka, chisinima, aratinaro. So you get to choose. Thank you, Em and Shell, my Lauren guide. You get to choose what that means for you and how that feels in your heart. Light language is it's a language of our souls. It's a language of our hearts. And whilst I can give some interpretations, and the only challenges with interpretations is they're often limiting, but for me, that included a reminder and an instruction to our hearts. Please do open to the sun. Please do open to your earth, open to each other, and open to your future. And let me ask for his opinion of the fifth dimension, his experience of the fifth dimension. He says, you're always living in a higher vibration when your heart's open, first of all. So the challenge is keeping an open heart. How are we going to deal with emotionally with people, en masse coming out of facilities that are where they've been imprisoned? Well, give them a big hug, right? What would you do if you had an open heart? You'd give them a big hug. If you were closed-hearted, you'd be scared and you would run away from them or ignore them. So this is a huge thing for us. And he's also showing me he says, what happens when you open your heart is you also allow a broader range of frequencies, a broader range of experiences. So your visual eyesight and your third eye eyesight expands much wider, and you start to feel and perceive much, much more. And he said, this is what the fifth dimension is. It's a much broader frequency range than the third. Third is heavy and dense, and it's stuff like me and you, all our physical parts of us. And he's showing me that as you open up your heart, you can bring in these much higher vibrations. So a broader frequency range of colors, a broader frequency range of emotions. And that's why my future self keeps saying, John, there's more and more joy. There's no limit to joy. And that's because there is a notional limit to the amount of joy you feel in the third dimension. And once you go above that, really you're stepping up into fourth and fifth dimension. That's exciting. That's very exciting. So yeah, he's just encouraging us all to keep an open heart throughout this, and also to really take good care of our bodies. And this is just as much as a message to me. I have a few days off now. I will be doing a couple more of these videos, but I'm not doing any more work through the next few days. So spending an hour or so on this is not draining. In fact, I feel it quite energizing. Okay. Well, thank you, Em and Shell. Thank you to all our guides, our higher selves, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source and Gaia, and every soul that's participated in today's session. And so I'd like to ask us all to remain in our individual protected bubbles as we bring the session to a close, and just step outside of the shared session space as I return it to Source. I'll never return here again. Please, after today's video, even if you've just been doing something like I'm about to do my Friday morning chores and clean the house, if you're just doing something at the same time, do keep an eye on your water levels. Make sure you're drinking as much as it feels right for you, and get plenty of rest and listen to your body. And a couple of other updates. I did, for the first time, drink some Lion's Mane coffee yesterday. I bought a pack of it. Wow. Where's it been hiding? Because I'm just a massive mushroom freak. I love mushrooms so much. So I still had a coffee. Actually, I had a tiny bit of coffee just before this video. But that's really interesting. And I'm definitely, if you're in the UK, if you live in the UK and you drink some form of Lion's Mane coffee, please recommend a good supplier to me. Certainly, I went to a well-known e-commerce, retail website and bought a pack, and it's like, wow, that's really expensive. Not very sustainable. Maybe I could even learn how to make it. I think that would be so much fun to learn how to make lion's mane coffee. That'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, I don't know how much you wanted to know about that or not, but I know lots of you are asking about coffee. If you want to drink coffee, do drink coffee, right? It's not going to stop your ascension. But if you're a bit of a coffee fiend like me and you're drinking a lot in a day, just be more conscious about everything you consume and ask your body, because different for each of us individually. So yeah, thank you so much for all your love and support, and I look forward to sharing today's video with you and all your comments. Please, in the comments, say hello and where you're from, and what your name is. I love hearing that. If you're comfortable sharing, it's up to you. I'm not doing anything with the data. I'm just just saying hello to you and connecting with you, and it helps me bring awareness. I love it when you tell me a bit more about the place other than the name, because it helps me know you and in the area of a bit more about a person, a real living being in a place that's not just a Google map. And so much of, I keep hearing that so much of Google Maps is like, maybe fake's the wrong word, but the actual mapping of the ocean, like the Pacific Ocean, for example, is tiny, but we just kind of fill in the map, right? Does that mean it's fake? I don't know. You let me know, or we can ask in a future session. And yeah, thank you for all your bookings. It's so lovely. I think there's still a little bit of space left in October for bookings. Please keep them coming. It's entirely a sustainable rate for me. So it's all, I've got so much better at managing my workloads and not just burning myself out. And it's such fun to be able to create these videos for you. So thank you so much. Please do like, share, subscribe, do all the things, and hit notification bell, etc. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much. And I'm sending so much love from Scotland. Love you. Bye.